Hello, Barry William Tradie, your host of this episode of the Tradie Business School podcast. I'm joined by Miranda Hill, and today we want to speak to you about a tool that we recently created for our members called the Profitable Pricing Calculator. Now, the way this came about is that time and time again, I'm a little bit gobsmacked that people just aren't taught the difference between gross profit, net profit, what's margin, what's markup, and they're going and adding a percentage to their materials and to their labor, thinking they're making money and wondering why their P&L still shows a negative or a minus, wondering why they're still robbing Paul to pay Peter, and just aren't really financially moving forwards. And so I guess in this short episode, I want to debunk the myth between margin and markup, because essentially what this tool does for our clients, it allows them to always create quotes that are profitable on every job, regardless of the change in material costs and labor costs and so forth. And when you understand this, it allows you to price your jobs when sales fluctuate, but always stay in the black. It also allows you to adjust your overhead costs to maximize how competitive you can be in beating other people on jobs, but ensuring that you don't just win the job, you make money from the job. And it also allows you to set your profit targets and budgets so that when you are quoting, you're quoting profitably.
It's huge. It's just not something that's taught. And I think just with this, so we can probably keep this super, super short. I think if one key thing we can get across is what is that difference between markup versus margin, and how to know how to do that and why it matters. So
I want to give everyone that's listening to this today, wherever you are in the world, I want to give you this tool for free, because if I try to talk too meta or too detailed, especially if you're listening to this in the ute and the way to the work site, I'm just going to lose you and it's going to brain fry you. So I'm going to talk high level, give you a couple of key things, but there will be somewhere around this to be able to download this resource. And worst case, if you can't find it, go on to tradiebusinessschool.com website, hit us up in the contact section to say, hey, I want the profitable pricing calculator. We give you the presentation. There's a Google sheet that allows you to take that and use it in your business to run all your costings through. But essentially, the question I've got is, do you know how to adjust your pricing based upon the cycles in your business? Now, when I'm talking about cycles, I'm talking about at every revenue growth stage, you're either going to be reinvesting in growth, you're going to be minimizing costs for the next leg up, you're going to be hiring resources. Your business goes through cycles. And so therefore, you can't just have a set pricing calculator and always price the same, because what you're going to notice is there's going to be a fluctuation on profit based on you hiring more talent to expand on the growth, investing more in marketing or sales, or maybe running at the top end of productivity before re-hiring staff. The second question is, do you know how much to quote to ensure you're profitable on every job? Right? Man, our clients have made a lot of money running this pricing calculator back over their standard pricing and realizing that some jobs haven't made money and other jobs have propped up their business. And third is, are you pricing for profit or for poverty?
Pricing for profit versus poverty. So what would be the fundamental difference in pricing for profit versus poverty?
Well, if we look at the difference, first of all, between margin and markup, right? The definition, if you just Google, the definition is margin is equal to sales minus the cost of goods sold. That gives you a gross margin. The net margin is essentially the sales minus cost of sales and minus overheads. Whereas markup is equal to a product's selling price minus its cost price. Right? Markup is equal to a product's selling price, kitchen selling price, less the cost to do that. And if we look at this, the easiest way for us to determine what our break-even margin is if we look at what are our annual overheads, right? There are fixed expenses, there are rents, there are loan repayments, there are staff that we employ regardless of where the business comes in. We should be able to project that, Miranda, 12 months into the future to know, okay, over the next year, if I don't hire any more staff, if I don't take on any more debt, right, this is what my overheads are. We divide that by what we estimate our annual sales to be. And what happens is we're left with a break-even margin. So if we look at $250,000 worth of overheads, and we estimate we're going to do $1 million, our break-even margin is 25%, right? Super simple. What we want to do is we want to then look at our overheads, and we want to add on to that the desired profit or wage we'd like to take home for ourselves. So if we go 250,000 plus 100K, right, just to keep it easy, we've got 350,000. We divide that by that same estimate of $1 million for the revenue. We now have a break-even profit margin of 35%. That's what we must hit, right, as a gross margin to break even, right? Knowing that part of breaking even will actually be taking a wage. Now, this is where it starts to get more complicated, and I'll allow you guys to download the tool. But that doesn't actually allow us to go and to go and price a job profitably, just knowing what that is. There's a lot of factors in place. Now, where we get into a mistake is we go, I bought these materials for $1,000. I'll just bang on 30%. So I'll go 1,000 times 30%, and I'll charge it. That's not going to give you a 30% margin in that.
There's another calculation that needs to be made. There's probably a whole lot of calculations, but it's the margin conversion rate, isn't it? You've got to start looking at what that is, and that changes things significantly.
Absolutely. And so that's where this calculator works. Is that I don't want to go into a huge conversation about it because I will lose you guys. I guess what I'd love you to get out of this short episode is like, shit, I actually don't know what my margins are. And what you've just shared with me, Barry, Miranda, has given me a clue into why I'm losing money on some jobs and not others, or why my margins are always different from quarter to quarter. Like what we can do with this tool is allow it that regardless of whether you do $1 million this quarter or $2 million this quarter, as the quarters change, the margin stays consistent as you grow, right? And even if you've got a way that you price jobs right now, running it through our calculator will allow you to double check and cross check. But the really cool thing is we've had tradies, Miranda, that have actually hired virtual assistants from us at Alchemy Outsourcing, and they've had their assistants quote because this calculator is foolproof. So in the past where we've met many traders that have been like, I have to continue doing the quotes because, it's my livelihood. Like numbers are the backbone of my business. They've been able to actually outsource this to a virtual assistant to cost jobs for them and become more profitable because they have a methodology that works every step of the way.
So powerful. Think about the time savings, think about the power in your business. So we'll stop it there. Download the tool, have a look around. We'll put a link somewhere here. It's free. It will change your quoting. It will change the time spent doing it. It will give you the confidence and the certainty that so many business owners and traders just do not have when they're just putting percentage markups on things and then wondering why their bank account is not reflecting the work that they're putting in.
Easiest way, you can download around here, but join the Trades and General Contractors Global Facebook group. And we will actually put this as a free resource, or they call them units, inside of Facebook. So if you had to download the example, the book that goes through and shows you how to do it, a video of me explaining it on screen share more in depth, but also the Google spreadsheet to be able to use as well. We'll put that inside the Facebook group under the unit, join the group, get access to it. And I'd love to know how much more money you start to make as a result of this very simple and free training. That's it for me.
That's it. We'll leave it right there. Thank you so much. Jump on in, get the tool, everybody. It'll change your business, really. We cannot wait to connect with you again on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening.
And once you start making some money, come and spend some with us so we can help you make a whole lot more. Thanks, Miranda. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye. Yeah, bye-bye.